Okay, welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Guild. This is a little bit of a more special edition because we will forego talking about Impact, the go-home show, because Nick hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter so much because we can do it anyway. I can tell you, I saw the go-home show, and it was good. It wasn't like the best. A lot of vignettes and promos, but there were a couple of interesting matches. We got to see Joe Hendry for the first time. We got to see Scarlett Bordeaux, who is the new knockout that's coming, and stuff like that. So, there was a couple of inches. We saw a match between Shotzi Blackheart and Tessa Blanchard against Madison Rayne and Allie, and that was fun. It was fun to see. It's interesting to see that, or it's good to see Shotzi Blackheart again. She's a good performer. Unfortunately, she's hurt herself, so she's not going to be around for a bit. We'll see. Anyway, this is the Wrestling Guild. My name is Chris Mary Holtman. With me, I have Nick E. Anderson. And this is a presentation brought to you by the SLTD Wrestling.com productions. You can catch all our podcasts on Thursdays, basically. That's when they all come out. And also, I want to give a little extra shout out to coming soon. Dim Van Dam is going to be hosting through the Wrestling Guild podcast, the World of Sport podcast, where he will review the British wrestling organization World of Sport every week, which is making its triumphant return. So look for that. Awesome. Also, you can go into the Wrestling Guild's Facebook page and check out his, as he traveled around in Russia watching death matches. Did you happen to see it, Nick?
No, I just saw like some of it, not really that much, but just a bit of it, yeah.
Well, it's not for the faint of heart. There's a woman who gets syringes, amongst other things, pushed through her tongue and cheeks. But it is what it is. People catch on fire. It's a lot of things happen.
It's just it's normal Monday. What?
Yeah, just a normal Monday.
But I mean, did you like Slammiversary at all? Or?
Well, yeah. If we go back to Slammiversary, absolutely. How did you? I can't say enough. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about Slammiversary. I must say that this was probably one of the best pay-per-views that I have seen. Not giving away too much, but definitely this was one of the best pay-per-views I think that TNA has put, or Impact has put out.
Absolutely.
And I mean, since you and I started watching, but also since I started watching, I mean, we talk a lot about we talk a lot about like the GWN moments of the week, and how we don't feel that the crowd's into it enough, and how the matches aren't gritty enough or hard hitting enough. But this was all of it, and it definitely feels like they're trying to fill a hole that the WWE has left. When it comes to like it's more geared towards kids, the WWE. This is. It was just good. I think let's just jump into it. We'll give each match a star rating, and we'll talk about each match a little bit, and then we'll give the whole thing a star rating. But a rating, and I think we're agreed already. Basically,
I mean, let's just get into it. I'm excited.
Okay, so we'll start out with a fatal four-way. It was Phoenix, it was Petey Williams, it was Ishimori, and it was Johnny Impact. Petey Williams jumping in a late addition instead of Rich Swann, who had suffered a concussion. What did you think about that addition?
I think it was a good. I mean, it was a kind of perfect and awesome match to like start everything in like a good introduction. We had some high flying, we had some hard hitting, and everyone took part of it.
Yep. Everybody did take part of it. It was good, and I mean, I think this was a great way to start off the match or the card, really. Because I mean, I was hoping that they were going to put in somebody else, like maybe Andrew Everett or Desmond Xavier. You know, somebody that's more like Rich Swann. I mean, Petey Williams, he's a good wrestler, but he is more of a hybrid wrestler. He's more like a Matt Seidel. He does a lot of different types of moves, not only the high flying, and the other guys do more high flying stuff. So like an Andrew Everett, DJZ, or Desmond Xavier would have been better. Maybe, I don't know. But I think this has worked out well. And of course, if you're in Canada, who are you going to call on short notice other than a Canadian wrestler, right?
True that.
Yeah. But there was some great stuff happening. It was great to see Ishimori back. The crowd was going wild for all these different moves that they were doing. People were jumping everywhere. They were super kicking each other in the face. And yeah. Because I believe I had Johnny Impact as winning this match. How about you?
Yeah, I think we both had. And yeah, just as we predicted, Mr. Johnny took the lead and kind of, I mean, to be honest, he like destroyed the competition. It wasn't like he was lucky or anything. He really fought really good in the end there.
Yeah, and I think it was probably for the best without Rich Swann being there. Impact really was the one that really looked like he was going to win this match, and he did. He hit the Starship Pain on Phoenix. What did you rate this match?
I mean, stars, like 1 out of 5. I mean, 1 to 5. 3.5, maybe 4. I mean, it was good, but not maybe the awesome. I mean, there was more to come, but maybe 3.5.
Really? That low? I gave this 5 stars. I thought that this was a 5-star match. I thought that this, of course, I mean, obviously it was the opening match, and I felt like 5 stars. Now looking at it, might have been a little bit high, thinking about all the other things that are going to come.
I mean, it was a good match. It was awesome. But if I compare it to the other matches that we have later in Slammiversary there, I think this one is like 3.5, maybe 4, then something like that.
Okay. So that's up to you. Anyway, yeah, I love this match, and I could see it again and again and again. Then we had the King and the OGs talking about taking over, leaving LAX in a pool of blood. Not much to say about that. Then we had Tessa Blanchard versus... I also have to say that these promo packages, these vignettes that they had for each match were off the chain to use language that the kids use today. It was they were on point. They made you really excited for each match, I thought.
Okay. I kind of regret it, but to be honest, I wasn't really paying that much attention to these vignettes in between the matches because I was so excited to the next one. And because every match was so good and they were getting better and better, I couldn't get hold of myself. And then, yeah. So I was like kind of almost skipping through the vignettes just to come to the matches.
Boo for you.
But you're saying that they were really good then. Okay.
Yeah. And so we had Tessa Blanchard versus Ali. This was the kind of match that you think that this will be like the match that goes that you could sleep on a little bit. You know, you had this high flying awesome match to begin with, and then you had Tessa Blanchard versus Ali, where there aren't any stakes other than their reputation. So this was going to be like a sleeper match, but I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by this. What did you think?
I mean, I think it was awesome. I think it was good, but it was a bit short. I mean, both performed well, and they took it to a level. And like Tessa's like last move on Ali was beautiful. It was really good. I mean, you can't really complain. Maybe a bit too short here and there, but impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it goes to show that Tessa Blanchard is the one that lifts this a little bit. I mean, she's been getting the best out of Madison Rain. For being somebody that's only been wrestling for like 3 years, she's really, you can't tell.
Absolutely. I mean, wow. She just does it very well, to be honest. I mean, that's how it is, straight up.
Mm-hmm. Tessa Blanchard wins with a hammerlock DDT. Obviously, Ali was very popular in Canada. She had a new outfit. She had a new style. Definitely going. She's like full cherry bomb. I think she's gone definitely away from the old bunny or the kind of tame Ali. She's now like full on, like wrestler Ali, which is good. I gave this actually 4.5 stars because I thought it surprised me how good it was.
I would give it 4. I mean, like you say, really impressive, and it wasn't a sleeper match with the way you kind of both thought it would be.
Yeah, definitely. So we're 2 for 2 then. We both predicted the winners here. Yeah, then we had an interview with Moose. Not much to say about that. House of Hardcore match came up next. Eddie Edwards versus Tommy Dreamer. Was this everything that you expected?
I mean, I would say so. I mean, it was an awesome match. Like I say on every match now. but like, there was a lot of anger from Dreamer, which I didn't expect. Because, I mean, I'm expecting more Eddie to be aggressive, but Dreamer was aggressive. And he had some great moves. But at the same time, Eddie, like both of us, if I was reading right there, the predictions, like, Eddie's on another level. And that's how he beats Dreamer, really. But it was a really good match. Maybe not the best one, but definitely I would watch this one. Like, I would recommend people watching it. It was good. Yes,
it was good. And, they introduced a staple gun, which is always good when you staple each other at the head. There was blood. There was a lot of blood this pay-per-view, I would say.
Exactly, and that's like kind of what people want. So just give it to the people.
I know. Eddie Edwards was put through a bunch of chairs with a Spicoli driver from Tommy Dreamer. I would say that Tommy Dreamer looked good here. Better than I've seen him look in a long time. But even in the match that we saw with him wrestling the Man Scout, if you remember, where he drove he hit a DVD on the Man Scout through his pop-up tent.
Oh yeah, a while ago.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Eddie Edwards wins with a Boston Knee Party right through a chair. I gave this 4 stars. I felt it was a little too short.
Yeah, I mean, a bit too short, but okay. Like, could have been a bit longer, but yeah. 4 stars for me as well. Absolutely.
And in the end, it looks like Eddie Edwards regrets what he's done. He's seen the error of his ways, and Alicia Edwards comes out, and it looks like he's going to beat Tommy, but he doesn't, and they become friends, and Tommy gives him the stick, kind of passing the torch, and then everything is fine.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess it's finally over. Storyline put down, like, done, finished.
Yeah, I guess that, but I'm kind of wondering what we're going to see next. Is Eddie Edwards going to be full heel after this, or is he going to be back to good old Eddie Edwards? What's going to happen next? Because what I really wanted to see, and we can talk about that later when we talk about the result of the next of the main event, but I would have wanted to see a heel Edwards go after the World Heavyweight Championship.
I guess it's because Eddie as a heel is more interesting than him as a babyface, right?
Yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, I agree with that 100%. Anyway, so I gave this 4 stars because it was a little too short. And I mean, I don't know about you.
I would say the same. 4. It was good. It had exactly, and it had exactly what I was expecting, and it delivered. Maybe not like perfection, but it delivered.
Okay. Yeah. So we were 3 for 3 there. We both thought Eddie Edwards on that one, so we saw that one right. Then it was the X Division Championship match: Brian Cage versus Matt Sydal. Did this deliver for you?
I mean, the thing is, I was predicting, I think, that Matt was about to win this, so I was expecting him to win that.
Just because you predicted it?
I mean, wow. Yeah, so now the world has to go after my predictions all of a sudden. So, yeah. But, like, I mean, the match was cool. It was brutal. And, I mean, Cage gave Matt no time.
Yeah, I know.
Chill, and he just kept going. He kept, killing him almost. And it was impressive and whatnot. But I feel like Matt should have won this match. I don't know. It was... The poor guy needs it. I mean, come on, he needs the stuff.
Well, I was hoping for Matt Sydal to win because I didn't think that because of Brian Cage winning, the way they built him up will make it difficult for him to have a challenger that isn't maybe like Congo Kong. I mean, I remember when Abyss was the X Division champion, or even Samoa Joe was the X Division champion. I mean, they were powerful, strong people, and the X Division athletes couldn't really compete with that without cheating somehow. So, I mean, the only way that I can see that Brian Cage is going to lose the title now is that, outside interference or cheating. So I would have rather seen Matt Sydal win. And I think that for me, it's like Matt Sydal has been doing so well and he's like really getting into his zone that it felt that maybe it was a little bit wrong to take that away from him at this stage of the game. But hey, I don't know. I thought that this was a good match. I thought it was a good match. They played to the strengths. Matt Sydal did not look weak against Brian Cage at all. Cage, and I thought also it was cool that Matt Sydal kind of screwed it up for himself when he did his shooting star press because his feet hit the ropes. So that was kind of cool that they did that he like fell on his own doing. Brian Cage wins with a drill claw after his mistake. I gave this 4.5 stars. I'm thinking when I saw it, but I'm thinking maybe 4. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean 3.9, 4 maybe. I don't know. I mean, it was okay. I mean, it was good. I mean, you can't say it's okay. It was good, but I was maybe expecting more action, a bit more high flying, fast paced ish. But at the same time, Cage is like a big ass.
Well, he's a machine.
Tank, so. Oh, yeah, he's a machine, exactly. So it'll be hard to go for a fast-paced one. But yeah, I'm satisfied. I ain't sad.
Well, there was our first mistake, I guess. They didn't follow us. But next, we had the Knockouts Championship match. It was Madison Rayne versus Su Yung. Did this deliver for you?
No, I'm sorry. I mean, not really. It was an okay match. It was cool and a bit hard-hitting. I read on the internet, a lot of people complain on like female wrestlers, they're not too hard hitting and whatnot. But I think there was some hard hitting stuff, some segments here and there, and it was fast paced and sometimes high flying. And it also delivered on the brutal part. But then I don't know, towards the ending and whatnot, and here and there, and like how Madison, I don't know, it wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know.
No, I mean I can I guess I can agree with you there. It wasn't really exactly what I expected it to be, but I mean, Su Young's strength is definitely her character. I can't say that I felt that she's shown a great deal of action, or she hasn't shown a great deal of ability in the ring, not like on Madison Rain's level. So this match was a little bit too short. There was outside interference, and Madison Rain gets taken out by the panic switch in the end. Otherwise, there were no real shenanigans, which I maybe had expected, and so. But I didn't expect Madison Rain to win either. So this was what I thought it was how I thought it was going to end. Yes, maybe I would have liked to see a little more brutality, a little bit hard hitting, and to say that women can't do hard hitting is completely, wrong if you look at what Ali and Tessa Blanchard did.
Exactly. True that.
I gave this 3.5 stars because it was still good.
Yeah, I would say the same. 3.5. That's totally correct.
Yeah. Then we had the OGs with King versus LAX, with Conan in a 51-50 street fight. Was this what you wanted?
How can people say that they didn't deliver? This was awesome. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 100.
10 out of 100? That's not a very good.
It had everything. Hard hitting, fast paced, high flying, brutal. And what can you more expect from it? You had some chairs, you had some tables, you had everything.
People were bleeding.
Exactly, people were bleeding. I think it was, I don't remember who.
Santana, I think, was bleeding.
Yeah, someone from the hands. Some people were bleeding from the hand, from the head, from their ass. I don't know.
And there was blood everywhere. This was a brutal match. This was a good match, and it was like, the OGs, the former LAX. They could really bring the heat. They could bring the noise. It's awesome. And I also like the fact that Conan got involved in the end when it looked like Homicide was going to hit Santana with a Gringo Killer, and they kind of had like this thing back and forth. He threw the thumbtacks to Santana. Homicide got slammed into the tacks, and then a frog splash on the tacks, and it looked brutal because that's when he was bleeding all over his hands. I hope they got their tetanus shots after that. I hope it doesn't get infected.
But you think it delivered, right? You're happy.
Yeah, I'm happy. But although I was hoping that the OGs were going to win. This will probably further the feud between them.
Yeah.
But I was hoping the OGs were going to win, just so that we had some other stakes in the whole thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I also was riding on my prediction. If LAX wins, the storyline is kind of over. Mm-hmm. If the OG would win, we couldn't go further on with the storyline, which would be even more interesting. So I definitely agree with you on that point. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But it was good. It was everybody, and then they took out Conan in the end, which also furthers kind of the storyline that they attacked Conan and they whipped him with like a blackjack or whatever that was. I don't know.
Yeah, you get so pissed, Conan. It's funny. Oh, I would really like to meet him in real life, just to talk to him. He was like, he's so good, good person. Mm-mm.
I guess he's like high all the time though.
Shit. You can't really expect. That guy high. He looks more about like the guy who drinks. But okay.
Anyway, 4.5 stars for me.
I'm sorry. It's LAX. I have to give it 5. I'm sorry. It's just.
Okay.
I have to. They told me to put.
Okay. So, tell me about the hair versus mask match between Sami Callihan and Pentagon Jr.
I would say this match also did better. I mean, both of us. I remember that. Like both of us were like, Pentagon won't take off his mask, so that won't happen. So Pentagon, Sammy must lose, and that's what kind of that is what happened. But the match also delivered, like hard hitting, high flying, brutal. Like the teamwork between Sammy and Pentagon is perfection. I mean, it's perfect. It's mwah. It is everything you want it to be. And they have really good teamwork, and they're on the same level, and they just perform really well. That's all. That's all it is to it. I mean, do you disagree? Or?
No. I completely agree. This was a brutal match from the get-go. They were hitting each other in the head with railroad spikes, and there was blood. This was also blood everywhere. I mean, jeez, I hope none of them had like hepatitis or something like that, because they're all infected. But yeah, no, this was brutal, and I think it was fun when I mean, Sami Callihan's facial expressions when he got chopped in the chest. From Pentagon, when he took off his protective gear.
Oh yeah, he was like, yeah, let's put that on, I guess.
or when he got fear factored right through the chairs.
Yeah, that part. I mean, the thing is, I don't know if they're acting really well or if it actually hurts, because his face was really like screaming pain, like after those chairs. I mean, wow, and awesome. I mean, 5 stars.
Yeah. This was a 5-star match.
My money. I mean, come on, just wow.
Yeah, and the fact that they were just sitting there slapping each other in the chairs. As we predicted, Pentagon wins this match. And Sami Callihan has to have his head shaved. OVE come in to try to stop it, but then Phoenix comes in and helps out, and yeah, Sami Callihan is bald. Yeah. That's basically how it is.
He looks okay. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, he doesn't look terrible. He just looks
he mostly wears that baseball cap anyway.
Anyway, there you go.
And then finally, we had the main event of the evening. It was Moose versus Aries. The one thing I want to say before we get to this match and before we kind of round out and close is like, Slammiversary was a great event. A lot of things happened, but there were no surprises. There was no new wrestlers that came in. There was no outside interference really, except for like Conan and OVE and the bridesmaids. But I mean, otherwise it was actually quite, I mean, did you miss that?
It was okay.
I was expecting there to be some new wrestlers coming in and stuff like that, but nothing.
I mean, I personally would like surprises, because that gets you going and like, oh, what happens now, when it gets even more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's quite nice to know what matches you're expecting, what you're gonna watch, and what you're gonna get delivered for you and served. So I mean, it's both good and bad. But like you say, I mean, not even one surprise. It's true.
So anyway, what do you say about Moose versus Austin Aries?
I mean, it's just also another perfect match. Brutal, hard-hitting, fast-paced, and high-flying. And even Moose with his size. I mean, wow. I can't really say. I mean, you just have to watch the match. It had everything you would expect. Like, Austin Aries gives you 100%, Moose gives you 100%, and they just go for it. And it just, they just perform very, very well.
Yeah, this was good. I mean, you can't say. I mean, really, you have to watch this match because it's not much. I mean, it was a straight up wrestling match. They did very well. Austin Aries just is on point all the time. probably the best match Moose has had ever. There were spears to the outside, there were go to hells, there were brainbusters on the outside, there were people going out into the audience. I mean, geez, and the crowd was going nuts. They were going nuts the entire show, screaming like Impact Wrestling, this is awesome, fight forever. Actually, they were screaming fight forever during the Pentagon versus Sami Callihan match, which I don't think they could have done because they would have been dead.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing I'm comparing with now, as you say, like, this is one of the best matches Moose has ever had. I mean, even when Moose was like competing with the god Alberto,
yeah, okay,
those matches were really, really well, and they performed together very good. But this one beats those straight up.
Yeah,
like you say. So wow, even Alberto can't make this match. Wow, that's something. That's something.
Yeah. So that I gave that 5 stars. Why not? Aries wins with a brainbuster. He's still the world heavyweight champion, which I think was probably the best choice. Even though, do you think we'll see Moose as the world champion at the end of the year?
At the end of the year, there's a chance. Very hard to predict, but I mean there is a chance because I mean it's maybe time for him to go into the light. I mean, to be honest, because it hasn't really gone that well for us. I mean, he's good. People like him and whatnot, but with the title and that, I don't know. I think it's because we got some new wrestlers like Austin came from nowhere and he just took everything and he performed really well and people just love him, including myself. He's a great wrestler. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? What do you predict?
I think so. I think we'll see him in the main event again at Bound for Glory. As I said in my predictions, I was hoping that Moose was going to win because because there are more options that are more interesting. Because now, who is Austin going to face now? Who's Austin Aries going to face? That is a baby face, or is that why they turned Eddie Edwards into a baby face? You know?
Yeah, I mean it's really hard to push it.
Or is it going to be Aries versus Johnny Impact? Maybe.
Well, there we have something. I mean, because there's not many options at all, so it has to be some of them. So yeah, wow. But I mean, even though Austin won and whatnot, the match itself, wow, perfect.
Well, we'll see. Oh, okay. Well, what would you rate this show?
I mean, even though we had some matches that were a bit maybe sloppy, a bit whatnot, I would still give this like 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it, because we had like matches after matches that were really, really, really good.
No, I'm giving this an A+.
Well deserved, really. I mean, like you say, fired on all cylinders.
Yeah,
it fired over the cylinder.
Well, if that's possible.
The fire went over the cylinder. Yeah, no. If that, yeah, that was awesome.
Well, Nick, thanks once again for a lovely, lovely podcast. Next time we chat with each other, I will be back in Sweden. So we'll have a whoop whoop. Yeah, so please follow us on all social media, on Facebook and on Instagram under the Wrestling Guild. But you can also find us on sltdwrestling.com every Thursday, on Sprecher every Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometime around there. We put out our podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. So look for that. But for now, my name is Chris Mary Holtman, and with me I have Nick E. Anderson. What do we say, Nick?
Well, it fired on all cylinders.
Okay then. Bye.